Hi everyone, it's Natalie again, and tonight I'm going to be coloring this picture of a face that I drew before this video. As always, I'll be using Prismacolor colored pencils to color this. These are my favorite colored pencils. They blend really well with each other and I highly recommend them. If you want to see more of my work or things I've done in the past, please check out my Instagram. The link to that is in the video's description. So tonight I'm going to start with the eyes, and I'm going to color in the eyelashes with a Copic Multiliner Pen. This right here, my other Copic Multiliners, they didn't have the name on them because they wore off over time, but this one has the name on it. This is a bit nicer than the other ones because this one's refillable, but I'll be using this to color in the eyelashes because I can create a nice eyelash shape with the pen. It's a lot easier to do with a colored than to do with a colored pencil, in my opinion. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them. Alexa, yes, I drew this before I started the video. I'm also going to be using this black pen to color in the pupils because it's just really easy to do with this pen. And after I'm done with this, I'll come in with some colored pencils and put down some color. Should I do green or brown eyes? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Okay, it looks like I'm doing green eyes because a lot of you look really excited about green. But before I start coloring the part of the eye that's actually colored, I'm going to color the eyeball itself. And to do that, I'll be using white. And I didn't say it in this video yet, but this is toned gray paper by Strathmore, if you were wondering. You can get this paper at places like Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and even on Amazon. It's really inexpensive, and I think it's a lot more fun than using traditional white paper because this, especially whenever used with colored pencils, really makes the color and the white pop, and the natural gray background is really nice whenever paired with just like anything really. Should have sharpened these ahead of time. If you guys see my hands disappear for a moment, I'm just sharpening my pencils. And I'm using a little touch of black to shade in the eyeball. And then I'm going to use gray as well to help blend it, because gray is that halfway between black and white. It helps create a smoother blend. Now here's the green. I'm using apple green to color in the eyes. This is just one of the first greens I grabbed. I didn't take too much time to decide on the green, but I thought this one would look nice. Right now this is just a base coat of green. I'll come in with some darker greens and some black to help shade it. Now here's olive green, which is a bit darker than apple green. Right now I'm adding just a touch of goldenrod to give a little bit more color in the eyes. Just a little touch of yellow. I don't know if you guys can see it in the video, but it's definitely there. Whenever you're coloring eyes, like most colors that you can color, if you add a little touch of yellow to it or gold, it really enhances the eye color because it just adds more variety to it. But you don't need to do that. It's just something that I do a lot of times. If you watch my other eye videos that I made here on Quirky Mama, you'll see that I used yellow on those a lot, and it just really helped enhance the eye color. If you guys want to go watch those, go to the videos tab on Quirky Mama and go scroll down to where it says Drawing with Natalie and watch the videos about the eyes. Okay, now this is my favorite part of coloring eyes. It's where I take white acrylic paint and I make a few little dots on the eyes in white as reflections. This really makes the eyes realistic and it gives them more depth. It's just a lot of fun to paint because you're using paint, and even though it's a little dot, I really enjoy doing it because it's that moment where the eyes come to life. The paint that I'm using, this is just generic craft store acrylic paint. I think this is the Hobby Lobby kind. They have cheaper kinds. This is just the one I have on my desk because I need to go buy myself some more white paint. But just little dots really help make the eyes pop. Okay, now I'm going to begin on the skin, and to do this I use a variety of colors. Let me get them all together right now. I mostly use earth and brown colors, and I also use black for some of the darkest points, and white as well, because white is used for the lightest. I'm going to start with peach color because it's very neutral. And it's a good base color because it's not too light, but it's not too dark either. So I guess it's just like in the middle. And then from this, you can decide to make it darker or lighter depending on your preference or whatever you have envisioned for a particular picture. Right now I'm just going to color in the face with this, and then I'll begin shading. So if you guys have questions, now's a really good time because I can easily look up at the screen Whenever I do fine details on the eyes, it's really difficult for me to read all of your questions, but I try to answer as many as I can. Unfortunately, they fly off the screen, and whenever I look at the screen, sometimes they're not there. So please feel free to ask. Alexa, for me to color one of these pictures, it usually takes about an hour to an hour and a half. But larger paintings and drawings that I do, those can take hours on end. However, these short little drawings, it's usually an hour or an hour and a half. This is Strathmore Tone Gray paper. This is one of my favorite drawing papers to use, especially for Prismacolor pencils. And remember, Prismacolors can be purchased at craft stores such as Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and you can get them on Amazon. If you buy them at Hobby Lobby and Michaels, make sure you look at the online coupon that Michaels and Hobby Lobby always have to offer. Those can help you save a lot of money whenever purchasing these pencils, because sometimes they can be expensive. So the online coupons definitely help out with that. Catherine, I've been drawing since middle school, and in fact last night I made a video about my progress as an artist and where I started drawing. So if you want to look at that video, it's from last night on this page. You can find it. I went through a lot of my old sketchbooks and artwork, and I just talked about it. Lizzie, I did color over the eyelashes because it would be really difficult to fit in the tip of the pencil between each lash, but that's okay because I can always go back over it. Pam, I use Prismacolor colored pencils. Becca, if you're interested in commissions or having custom artwork done for you, please send me a direct message on Instagram and I'll get back with you about it. Or if you don't have Instagram, please send a direct message to the Quirky Mama Facebook page and they will forward it to me and I can email you from there. Someone asked if I'm pressing hard or soft with the pencil. I'm not pressing too hard with it, but I am putting down a little bit of pressure, but really it's not that hard of a push on it. The Prismacolor pencils, they work pretty well without having to put a lot of pressure on them. So I don't really know how to give you like a good estimate of pressure, but it's not that much. Right now I'm adding some light umber to the base skin tone just to darken it a bit, and adjust the skin color. In each video that I do, I'm going to try and make different skin colors just to show you guys how to shade it with colors, because there's so many possibilities that you could shade. So right now I'm just making it a little darker with light umber, because light umber is a good color to brush over another to help darken it slightly. To Kristen, advice for a kid who wants to learn about drawing people. What I would recommend doing is to, first of all, purchase a sketchbook or something that you can document all your progress in, or like keep all your artwork together in. Hardcover sketchbooks are my favorite. They're not too expensive. You can get them at craft stores and places like Amazon. And then from there, I would recommend trying to draw faces to the best of your ability. And from drawing faces, like, look at what you can do best and what you could improve on, and depending on what those are, like for example, say you have trouble drawing noses, take a whole page of your sketchbook just to focus on drawing noses, and like take another page just to draw eyes, and really finely tune all of the features. Just one thing I want you to remember, like for young children especially, whenever trying to learn how to draw, drawing realistically does not necessarily equate to good art, because like there's a lot of good artwork out there that isn't realistic, and that's okay, because that's the beauty of art. You can make it really anything you want. So if you can't draw things perfectly in a realistic form, don't worry about it. Focus on finding what you enjoy drawing and run with that. I know that like a lot of people, they try to get caught up in just drawing realistic faces, and it doesn't always work out for everyone, and that's okay. Like, find your own way and style of drawing, and because that's what's really important. So just find an art style that's really comfortable for you and go with that. Tammy, I've been drawing since middle school. Michael, if you're interested in having work done for you in a commission, please send me a private message on Instagram or message the Quirky Mama page, and they will forward any messages to me. Janice, brown is definitely best to use for shading whenever you're working with colors such as yellows, reds, and oranges, and other brown colors for skin tones. That's one thing that is a good tip whenever you're shading things that are like red, orange, yellow, for example. Instead of just using black or darker shades of red for shading, try to use browns, because browns can help create a natural shade to them, and things won't be as like vibrant and bright, which is kind of nice if you're trying to draw things that aren't supposed to be so vibrant. So yeah, I would definitely experiment with shading things in brown. That's one thing I always do if I'm shading things of warm colors. I use brown as a dark tone to shade instead of just like black. Bonnie, I'm still in high school right now. For all of you asking who this is a drawing of, it's no one in particular. I'm just using a image I found on the internet as a loose reference for just like shading and placement and things like that. So like right now I'm just coloring out of my like knowledge of shading skin because I've done it so many times. Alexa, I'm currently a senior. Allison, yes, I am blending with different colored pencils instead of using any kind of blending utensil. I know that Prismacolor makes a colorless blender pencil, however, I don't have that, and like the things I've heard about it, they aren't too great, so I don't know if I'd ever get one because I'm pretty comfortable with just using other pencils to blend colors together. However, one solution to blending if you don't have any fancy blending tool are these gum erasers. I don't remember where I got this one, but you can get them at craft stores and on Amazon. They're very common. For me, using them with graphite, it doesn't always go so well, and it kind of just mixes the graphite, smears it, and it's kind of weird. I don't know what their intended purpose is for, but a friend showed me that you can actually use these to blend colored pencils together, and surprisingly enough, that works. It like moves around the pigment and blends it with each other, which is kind of neat. It's an easy way to blend something if you really need it, but I just use other pencils to blend colors in with each other. Excuse me, as I sharpen my pencil. Another piece of advice whenever using Prismacolor pencils, whenever you're looking for a sharpener, don't just buy the plastic ones that you can find in school supplies aisles. Those are good for just regular wooden pencils that you would use at school, but not for colored pencils because a lot of times those sharpeners aren't the best quality and they'll just end up eating up your pencil, and it would equate to wasted pigment, and since these colors are expensive, you don't really want to do that, so I'd recommend getting a metal pencil sharpener. These work a lot better than the plastic ones. You can find them at craft stores and places like that. But the most efficient way of sharpening your Prismacolors would be with a blade, like an X-Acto knife. I don't do that in these videos because with the space that I'm given right now, it's kind of difficult to do that. And plus this is a lot more convenient for the sake of these videos. It saves a lot of time, but using a blade is definitely the most efficient way that reduces waste. So I would recommend doing that. If you're younger and watching this, be careful whenever you do that. Get a parent to help you or something, because I mean you are using a blade. But if you can't get a blade, definitely get yourself a metal pencil sharpener. And be careful with the pencil sharpeners that come in like kits alongside other pencils like graphite pencils and things like that, because sometimes the pencils that are just thrown into those kits aren't always the best. They're kind of just there as a bonus freebie, but they're not always that good. So just be careful about that. It's usually best to get a sharpener on its own. Kia, I have not tried the Prismacolor Sharpener. In fact, I didn't know that Prismacolor has a sharpener. I'd like to try it. I'm assuming that you can get it at craft stores alongside Prismacolors, so I'll have to keep my eyes out for it next time I go to the craft store. Okay, now I'm going to color in the lips. To do this, I'm going to just use the basic skin tone color that I've been using, and then after that I'm going to add in other colors to blend it, because there's no Prismacolor pencil that I own that just has the correct lip color that I want. So to do that, I'm going to take some Crimson Red and go over the peach color. Just like that. And I'm going to blend it in with the peach again by going over the red with peach. This is how you essentially mix your own colors. It really is just different layers of blending. However, it works really well and it helps you get colors that you really want. And you may have to use a few layers of red or peach. So just keep applying colors until you get the color that you want. And whenever I'm shading lip colors, I always add just a small amount of brown to shade the lips, because it makes the red less vibrant, makes it more subtle, which looks nice with a face. And I always color the top lip a bit darker than the lower one, because just like in natural light settings, in a lot of pictures that I look at, the upper lip is just a bit darker. Tiffany, yes, teeth are a lot harder to draw than anything else. Fortunately, you can hide teeth most of the time whenever drawing portraits, because you can just have them with a closed smile or a closed mouth expression. In fact, one of the recent paintings I've made, I do have teeth in it, but it's very small, so I didn't have to do too much detail on them. I feel like the biggest problem I have with teeth is I over detail them and they look kind of freaky. Whereas I think if you leave out a lot of detail, like the lines that separate each teeth, it may look a bit nicer, because if you overdo the detail on that, it may look kind of scary. That's how it is in my experience with drawing teeth. But yeah, I'd say teeth are really difficult to draw. That's a good question from you guys in the comments. What color is the hair going to be? I was going to let you guys in the comment section decide on what color the hair should be. So by the end of the video, hopefully I'll see a lot of comments regarding what hair color you guys think this person should be. And from your guys' suggestions, I'll pick one that I really like. So give me ideas. Last time I did this, we ended up with a Starry Night hair. Not like Van Gogh Starry Night, but just like a night sky themed hair. That was really pretty. I like the way that turned out. It was a lot of fun painting all the little stars on that. If you guys missed that video, you can go back to the video archive and find it, or just scroll down on the page. Well, that might take a while, but if you go to the videos tab and you scroll down, you should find it easier that way. Vivian, in my experience with Prismacolors, the pencil doesn't really smear whenever I work with it. I know that some people, they've had experience with it smearing, but for me, I've never had any problems with that. I mean, the graphite around the picture may smear, like my hand gets stained with some graphite occasionally, but rarely do the Prismacolors stain my hands or smear. Melissa, the colors I used for the lips were peach, crimson red, and there's some more. Dark umber. I think it was dark umber. I don't remember. One of the browns. I'm seeing lots of great ideas in the comments for what color her hair should be. I'm seeing tons of different colors. Some of you want purple and pink. Some want like caramel browns or darker hair colors. But one thing I'm seeing a lot of is red, like bright fire red. I think those are all great ideas. At the end of the video, I'll decide on what color hair from all of your ideas. Obviously keep giving me ideas and I'll read them and I'll think about which one I'm going to do, and I'll do the hair coloring tomorrow. I'll start the video at the same time that I did tonight, which is 9:30 p.m. Central, and like I said, tomorrow I'll color the hair, so stay tuned for that. Timberly, I don't always match the eyebrows with whatever color the hair is going to be, because sometimes, like, if a drawing has bright pink hair or something, I may decide on making the eyebrows just a dark color, because I feel like with the face, natural colors go a bit better with the eyebrows. But depending on what I decide on doing from your guys' ideas, I'll color the eyebrows, and I'll do that tomorrow along with the hair, since, like, I mean, the eyebrows, they could be any color really. Right now I'm coloring the neck. Usually I always color the neck after the face, just because the neck isn't as fun to color as the face is, but it's something that I think is necessary, so I'm going to do that right now. And for you guys who want to see more of my drawings, please check out my Instagram. The link to that is in the video's description. But it's also been posted in the comments, so if you scroll around in the comments, you'll find it. Oops. I'll be posting this picture on Instagram tonight as a progress shot, and the hair I'll finish tomorrow since it's going to take a long time to do all these curls and waves. I really want to take the time and shade all of the waves just so you guys can see how to color in hair, because my previous hair colorings that I've done are just simply painting and making it a solid shape because that's something that I enjoy doing. But I think that coloring in curls and waves is a lot of fun, and I want you guys to see that. A reminder, if you guys need the links to anything such as my Instagram profile or where to buy Prismacolor pencils, just scroll around in the comments and you'll see the Quirky Mama page respond to a lot of you guys with links. Many of them contain my Instagram profile and the Amazon link to purchase some of the art materials. I'm going back in with my ink pen right now, and I'm going to draw back over some of the eyelashes because whenever I colored the skin around it, it colored over the eyelashes and faded their color. So I'm just using this pen again. If you missed it earlier, this is a Copic Multiliner Pen. It's just an ink pen. You can use any kind of ink pen for similar tasks like these, such as eyelashes and other dark parts of the face. I like using ink pens because they give you a finer tip than colored pencils, so it makes coloring things a lot easier, such as eyelashes and like even nostrils, even though I use the black pencil for that. But another note is to be careful whenever you're using ink pens over Prismacolor pencil. That's because whenever the ink sits on top of the Prismacolor, it's still very wet as it doesn't sink into the paper, it just kind of sits on top of this waxy coating. So you have to give it a moment to dry, because if you run your hand over it, it may smear all over the color and it'll look pretty bad. So just give it a moment to dry. Don't put your hand over it. But ink pens are nice because they're very dark. I think they're darker than the black Prismacolor, which is really helpful to add another dimension to your drawings, just to give it more depth. A few key places on the face that I like to use dark ink pens on it's the eyelashes, the nostrils, and the corners of the lips. And I almost forgot the bottom lashes. If you guys want to see a full tutorial on coloring eyes, please check out the videos tab on Quirky Mama's page, and you'll find 2 videos I made, one of a blue eye and one of a brown eye. You can watch those depending on like which color you like. Pick either one or watch both. I think the eyelashes turned out better on the blue one, so if you're looking to learn about eyelashes, go there. Eyelashes on a large scale, it's very difficult to draw and get right, whereas like smaller ones, I find it to be a lot easier. One thing that's kind of nice about using ink over pencil is that since it is still wet, you can easily wipe it off if you don't like it, and you can redo it, which is pretty rare for ink because typically ink just soaks into the paper and what's done is done, you can't erase it. However, you can wipe it off here. Breezy, this is a Copic Multiliner Pen. I've used these in only a few of my videos. The videos in the past, I've used ones that didn't have the marking on them and the brand because they rubbed off over time. These are basically the same type of pen. The only difference is that this one comes in an aluminum casing and is refillable. You can take out this back and put in a refill cartridge, whereas these ones are disposable. You can't refill them. These you can even replace the tips on. They're very nice pens. These and micron pens are good for doing outlining and just dark ink. These are what microns are, and these are Copic Multiliners. I don't really have a preference over one or the other, but I will say that microns are a bit cheaper. Sarah, if you're interested in a commission, please send me a private message on Instagram. The link to that is in the video's description and in the comments. Corky Mama left a few links to my Instagram in the comment section, so check that out. If you don't have an Instagram, you can contact me through Corky Mama's page. Just send Corky Mama a direct message on Facebook and they will forward it to me and I'll get back with you with email. So if you message them, make sure you leave your email address. Okay, it's 1 minute until 10:30, so I have to get going. Tomorrow night I'll be doing the hair coloring. I think that you guys decided on red, so I'll be doing red for the hair. I'll start that tomorrow at 9:30 Central Time, PM by the way, 9:30 PM Central. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed reading all of your comments and answering your questions. So if you guys have any more questions, you can always send me a direct message on Instagram and I'll talk to you. So bye, thank you. Hello, it's Natalie again, and tonight I'm going to be finishing the piece from last night. I colored the skin, the eyes, everything on the face last night, so if you want to see that video, go to the videos tab on Corky Mama's page and scroll down. It should be fairly easy to find since it was from last night. But tonight I'll be coloring the hair for it, and to your guys' request, you all chose red hair. So I'll be coloring her hair a red color. I saw lots of people say they wanted fire red, or some just said red or orange, so we'll see how it turns out. I can't guarantee a specific shade of red because I'll be layering, and so from there we'll just see what looks best. Right now I'm sharpening my red to begin on the hair. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. I will try to look up and answer whenever I can. Okay, I'm going to begin by erasing some of these excess pencil marks. Not too much though, because I want to see where some of the curls were. And I'll start with this strand of curl right here. I'm using Poppy Red to put down a base color, and I'll add more colors later. The thing that makes coloring red hair somewhat simple is the fact that, I mean not red hair, I meant curly hair, is the fact that the hair is broken into strands of waves or curls, so you can color each of those segments separately. Unlike straight hair, which is kind of like one big piece, that can be really difficult to color, but curly and wavy hair is somewhat easier because it's in segments. And I think the red hair was a good choice by you guys because it contrasts with the green eyes and it just is really nice to look at. That's one tip that I have for you guys whenever you're coloring. Whenever you want to choose colors for something and you don't know what to pick, look at different color combinations. You can learn about them online. Look up something along the lines of like contrasting colors or complementary colors, and you can find colors that go really well together. Green and red are an example too because they're opposites on the color wheel, so naturally they go pretty well together. and by the way, the pencils that I'm using are Prismacolor colored pencils. You can purchase them at craft stores such as Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but you can also find them on Amazon. If you decide to go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby to purchase these, make sure you look online for the coupon first, because those stores almost always have a coupon on their website, and it's usually for 40% off, which can save you a ton of money whenever you're purchasing art supplies. And this coupon usually goes for any item in the store, so like even if you're not going to buy colored pencils, still look at their coupons because you'll save a lot. I can't go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's without a coupon. Someone in the comments asked if it matters where you start or what direction the color goes in. I'd say on this, like where you start doesn't really matter, but the direction that you color in, whenever you're coloring hair, it's really important to go in the same direction and make the direction be the flow of the hair. So think of it as you're creating little strands of hair flowing downwards. I mean, you don't have to like start at the top and go to the bottom each time, but just try to work in the same direction. Like, don't color side to side with hair. Hair always goes downward, so make sure you're making strokes with your pencil that go downward. I see a lot of you guys are asking if I'll give her Freckles. I know I saw those comments a lot last night. I think maybe I should add Freckles at the end if I have a lot of time left over. Hair takes a really long time to color, so I don't know how much time I'll have left. That's why I made the hair in a separate video tonight, because I couldn't have done it in 30 minutes last night. Hair does take a long time. That's why in the previous hair videos I've done, I've always made the hair very simple and like one color painted. But whenever you're actually coloring each bit of hair with a pencil, it can take a really long time. I don't know if I mentioned it in this video yet, but the paper that I'm using is Toned Gray paper by Strathmore. You can purchase this at the same place that you can find Prismacolors, which is Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and on Amazon. However, whenever you go to Hobby Lobby, do keep in mind that the coupon may not always apply on this item because they typically have the paper on sale ahead of time and you cannot combine the coupon with sale items, but the paper is already really cheap. So I would encourage you to try out this Toned Gray paper if you haven't already. I think you'd be really surprised at how neat this paper actually is because it really makes the colors pop out and it gives you this nice neutral gray background, which is a nice change from the typical white paper. Samantha, yes, I first applied the lighter colors and then I used the darker colors. However, this probably won't be the lightest color, this is more of a neutral color. The lightest parts I'll come in with white and use that to create the shine in the hair. And to make the hair darker in the places that it should be, I'll be using browns and blacks and a darker red color. Erica, I wouldn't say that I was born knowing how to draw because to get where I am today it took years of practice and hours of drawing. So really, like, I don't think anyone is born knowing how to draw like this. You have to practice lots and you have to learn. So it was definitely a learning effort and is the result of practice and learning. So for all of you guys that are looking to draw, just remember, you gotta practice a lot, but that's okay because drawing should be fun. Brandy, if you want to see drawings other than people, you can see animal drawings and food drawings. If you click on the Quirky Mama video tab and scroll down, you'll see some of the other drawings that I've done. But I will say that people, it's my most favorite thing to draw. Someone asks, how old were you when you started drawing? I was in middle school whenever I got really serious about drawing. So it was really early middle school that I started to draw a lot. But if you guys want to see some of the pieces from my past and my old sketchbooks that I've made, you can check out a video I did a couple nights ago here on Quirky Mama. If you go to the videos tab, you can find it. Yeah, I think it was from Tuesday night, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. I hope you guys go watch that. I don't know if you did already, but I highly recommend you watching it if you want to learn more about my evolution as an artist, I guess. I basically just go through my old sketchbooks and my old artwork, and I talk about it, and you can really see like how my style has evolved and my focus and everything. Andrea, I can do commission work. If you're interested, please send me a private message on Instagram. And if you don't have Instagram, you can send a private message to the Quirky Mama Facebook page, and they will forward it to me. Just make sure that you leave your email address in the message. I know that this was somewhat discussed earlier, but do you guys want freckles on this or not? I know that last night you guys were talking about it, and I saw a few comments about it right now, and I'm considering it, but I'm not entirely sure, so I want to get your guys' opinion. Okay, now I'm going to use Crimson Red to come in with a darker red color, and I'll be coloring a lot of like the darker and shaded hair that's behind some of the frontal curls. This is where the hair would normally be darker, so instead of putting down a base coat there, I'm just going to go straight in with the darker red. And I'll do it on the left side as well. And after I finish putting down some of the base coats, you guys will then see me shade in each of these curl strands. It can be a lot of fun doing it, but it is very time consuming, and for me sometimes I lose interest whenever I'm coloring hair because there's just so much of it and it seems to all be the same. It's hard to stick with it sometimes, but in the end you can get something that looks really cool. That's why I personally like to make my hair like really abstract and like, I guess like not realistic. That's just my preference, but for all of you that really like realistic hair in your drawings, I'm making this video for you showing you how to shade hair because sometimes it can be really challenging. Oops, this pencil keeps breaking. Oh, Audrey, I was just thinking about that. It does look like Merida, I think is her name, from Brave. I don't really remember that movie too much. I think I watched a little bit of it, but I don't think I actually finished watching that movie. I don't know why. One thing that I'm experiencing right now as I color in the hair is like I have this like sudden urge to just go and like perfectly shade one of the strands of curls, but I know I need to finish like coloring in the base coats here because for the sake of this video I want to keep it very neat for you guys and organized. I try my best to do that, but sometimes like I just feel like I have to go color something on the other side of the page. It just, that happens kind of naturally for me. I just like feel this sudden urge to color something else on the page, and I guess I just kind of go with it. But for this, like, I kind of want to keep it more organized for you guys. But so if you see me like go off on the other side of the page, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to start shading in the hair now. So with these strands of curls, it may be difficult to see because they're all like a reddish orange right now, but for example, this one strand right here, I'm going to start with this one. Imagine each strand of curls as its own object, so you want to shade it independently. So what I'm going to do here is, starting on the right side of it, I'm going to add a bit of a darker red. And whenever the curl goes inwards, like right here for example, here it's going up and then down and up and then down. Wherever they go down, I'm going to shade it a bit darker right there. It's going to be dark right here, but wherever it goes up, I'm going to make it lighter with white, which I'll do in just a moment. And of course I'm going to come back in with some poppy red to blend it. And here's the white, just right there. We're going to add a touch of it. And since these strands are made up of individual strands of hair, but just put together, don't just like color in a circular pattern, almost like a reflection that you'd see on a solid object, but feel free to take your pencil and make little lines down the group of hair. And whenever you use white to make it shine, always keep it, you want to be able to see the lines because it helps texture the hair. So I'm extending the lines outwards into the other part of the curl. And instead of just using black, I'm going to use Tuscan Red, which is a dark brown, but it has a red tint to it. This can help me shade in the darker parts, but it's not too dark, and it blends in really nicely with the other reds. Kayla, yes, that's how the light hits it. I mean, this isn't a absolute situation where it's like this all the time, but just like in this, I consider it to be just like a standard lighting where the light is like somewhat above her, but like almost like near her forehead, but a bit higher. Here, the curls, whenever they go up, they move outwards from the head and they're closer to the light, so they reflect the light, whereas the parts that go downwards, they're also shadowed by the curls that go upwards. Now it can be a little difficult to explain because like I'm talking about like individual pieces of hair and their position on the head and everything, but in general, yes, just because the light hits the top of it and the bottom, the light misses it. And I'm also going to use a little bit of black. Again, whenever you're shading hair, you want to be able to see some of the lines because it helps texture the hair. So don't worry about blending it too much, because if you blend it way too much, it will look like a solid color, but in reality, these are clumps of hair, so you want to be able to see all the hairs. I really appreciate the Pokemon Go discussion in the comments. I got that app last night, and I was able to leave the house this morning, oh, not this morning, this afternoon with it, and it was a lot of fun catching Pokemon in my car. I know that for some people they've been experiencing server difficulties. Like whenever I was at the store earlier, it told me that the servers were down or having issues, but I tried again later and it worked. Audrey, if you're not really into Pokemon, I would still definitely give Pokemon Go a shot. It's a lot of fun, and the way that it uses your phone's GPS services is really creative, and it's a neat concept, so like I recommend everyone to try it. It's #1 in the App Store right now, so it's pretty good. Oh, and by the way guys, if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, I would recommend you do so. The link to that is in the video's description. I post a lot of my drawings there, so you can look at this. I have a progress picture of this before I colored the hair, and later I'll post a finished picture of this with the hair fully colored. Oh, Lindsay, my camera setup is with something called a shot box. It's basically a plastic box that folds up and there's holes on the top and you can lay your phone on it and your phone camera, it sticks out through the hole and it records everything that you're doing below. It's super convenient for things like this, like drawing. Again, it's called a shot box. It's a pretty cool contraption. Well, and the coolest thing about the shot box is that it has a USB port, so you can plug in your phone and charge it as you're recording. It's really nice because my phone will never run out of battery while recording, because I know that uploading a video to Facebook can suck up a lot of the battery power, but it's one thing I don't have to worry about whenever I'm recording. Oh, and another piece of advice for the hair, what I'm about to show you will help enhance your drawings. Don't be afraid to draw in some stray hairs, because we all know that everyone has them. So by doing this, you can create a little bit more realism and a little bit of a more natural look. Sometimes it can be hard whenever you try to draw strands of hair over colored skin or anything else that's colored, because there's Prismacolor already there, so it's not in its purest color whenever you draw over another colored area. But do it where you can, especially where the hair meets the background. Adding some loose strands of hair won't hurt, and it does enhance your picture. But whenever you do this, I would recommend definitely sharpening your pencil to where it's very sharp, and you can just make little lines. And even have some of the stray hairs drop over the face. This can help like attach the hair to the face and make it seem a little bit more natural and fitting. Oh, I almost forgot to do the eyebrows. I'm going to do the eyebrows with the Tuscan Red color, which is a brownish red. I'm just going to put down a few little marks and see how that looks, because whenever I do hair that's like a very vibrant color, I'm a little wary on making the eyebrows the same color. So that's why I'm going to use a color that I used in the hair, but it's not that bright, vibrant red. But sometimes I test the waters a bit and I add a few little marks and see what that looks like. And I think the red isn't too bold, it doesn't distract too much from the face color, so I'm going to use some red. Trudy, if you're interested in purchasing this picture or ones like it, please send me a direct message on Instagram to talk out the details. If you don't have Instagram, please private message the Quirky Mama Facebook page and they will forward the message to me. Just make sure you leave your email address there. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to add the freckles for you guys. To do that, I'll be using Tuscan Red, since it's a color that I've used for just about every part of the face. It will help blend it in very nicely. To do freckles, I just lightly brush it on there. I don't put down too much pressure because it'll make it too dark. But I wouldn't be afraid of making freckles, because sometimes freckles, they look really cool on a drawing or painting. If you guys want to see an example of a painting that I did with freckles, go to my Instagram. It's not my most recent painting posted on there, but one of them, and you'll see a face with lots of freckles, and I honestly have to say that that's my favorite face that I've painted to date. I just really love it, and the freckles are really heavy on her, so it's just something that was nice, because like any irregular parts of the shading that I did, I could cover up with just a little patch of freckles, and it looked good. And don't make every freckle the same shape. Make some that are kind of like just irregular shapes, not just circles, almost like round squares, where you have a square but it's like round around the edges. And some like have like smaller ones next to it so it looks like one shape. Another thing is about Freckles. What was I gonna say? Shoot. If you want to make like really small ones, just take your pencil and poke it on the page once. You may not see it come out every time you do this, but you will get a few, and it's really nice if you want to put in some small freckle details. I'm used to painting with freckles because very rarely have I used colored pencils to make freckles, but I've done it with paint. And painting freckles is nice because you can easily wipe them off if you don't like them, just as long as the paint hasn't dried yet. So if you made one that's like too big or it should be a little higher or lower, you can easily just wipe it off and paint it over again. Okay, it's almost 10:30, so I have to go. I'm finished with this picture now, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love reading your comments and answering your questions. Unfortunately, I'm not able to read all of them, so if you guys have a question that you're dying to ask, please send me a direct message on Instagram, and I'll talk to you. Again, if you're interested in buying this piece or any pieces that I've done or getting custom work done for you, please send me a direct message on Instagram or talk to the Quirky Mama Facebook page, leave your email address, and they'll forward the message to me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Central, so I hope to see you then. Bye!